Hey guys, we're getting ready to take the chassis back over to the body shop over in Rushville, and they're gonna get the body set on there. They got the majority of the paint stuff done. So next step, do a quick walk around one time when we got the body off here, just so we can take a look at how everything's looking and lining up. I was able to use the original generator and starter. Did some testing on them. They're working fine. Drive shaft, got that back on there. Did that so I didn't have to crawl underneath of it again. Still got the masking tape on that white exhaust just to keep it nice and clean until we get everything put together there. You can see just me working on getting the fuel pump put on. I just rubbed my hand a few times and got a couple smudges on there on the area I didn't tape, of course. Got the ground strap reattached. Leaving the old plugs in for now. I got new plugs for it. Put those in later. And I've got this fuel line yet to hook up from here to here. It's a short little connection rubber hose. It's coming from the Kaiser Willys group. Should be here in a couple days, but they're ready for the body, so I'll just put that on later. Once we hook that up, we can do the fuel tank and actually try to start the engine at that point. Hey guys, I'm at Thomas Auto Body in Rushville. Got the car primed. The inside of the bay's been painted. Looks beautiful in there. These guys are doing some great work. We'll go back over this way, look at a few of the parts. So got these all primed up. The hood, convertible, trunk lid, and we'll also take a look underneath the car. So here we see we got some primer. They're getting it ready for paint underneath. They did a great job with some undercoating. Looks beautiful. These guys are doing some great work. Okay, now I'm pulling that wire harness through there from the other side. Last piece is to disconnect that spring. Okay, got the wiper motor kind of cleaned up a little bit. And we'll start to take a closer look. Here we see these wires are frayed here. So I can probably strip this back a little bit, and then I've got some heat shrink tube I can stick over that and repair that to be able to keep these wires. So I'll work on getting these off, and then we'll try to free up this switch. So yeah, we kind of got the colors documented here with the black, red, and tan, and tan down there. So we'll go ahead and pull these wires off and do the heat shrink repair, and then we'll bend these tabs back and see what's going on inside here, why this won't rotate. Okay, got these three wires off. As I pulled this back, this one was green. We got a red, tan, or red, green, and tan one here. And I don't have a green shrink tube, but that's okay. I'll use my red and black, and I'll just put a black on that tan one also, but I'll leave enough of it here so I can see what the color is down below. And then I'll just cut the heat shrink tube long enough to come up to the end there. It should slide over these bullet connectors. D10 in there, so it should go clockwise. Just trying to put a little pressure on there. Oh, there it went finally. Okay. Now we'll just work some oil down in there. Get that loosened up. WD-40 does some amazing things. Went ahead and took the Dremel tool and polished those contacts up really good. I think we can set it back together now. Okay, I've verified the switch is functioning. Hooked the battery up and was testing the different positions on the switch, and seems to be operating okay, but the motor's still not turning. And just to look at a little bit of play, there should be a little bit of play in this. This thing is super tight. I can't even hardly wiggle this back and forth. So I think I'm gonna take the covers off of this and look inside here and see if it's got some of that old grease. It's got these all bound up or something, and see if we can make the motor run without the gear drive and see what happens from there. Sure enough, the grease in here is just solid, so crispy, dried up grease. So we'll have to get all that stuff out of here, clean all this out, and then see if we can get that motor to spin. Gotta drive this, took the nut off there, and then we gotta drive this threaded cap for the arm out of there. And then hopefully we can get the gear to come out. And there's a couple seals in there, it looks like. So we've got the half moon piece on there, or actually just a key fitting with the square piece for the drive. And then we've got a small like friction washer there. It goes there. And then we have kind of like a spring washer. Goes with the small side up on the side we're on right now. And that looks like that's about it. So let's zoom in on that so you can see. Pretty dirty in there, crispy. So we'll get all that cleaned and flushed out, and the other side probably looks the same way. So hopefully there's nothing wrong with the motor in there. We'll find out. Okay, now we've got the gear off the other side. This side is the one that also has the electric coming into it. We'll notice there's a little difference on this side. This is the gear that makes it switch direction. So as it drops off, it's going to flip a switch here and change the direction of the field and armature in there. So same thing, lots of crusty grease. We'll get all that cleaned out of there, and then we'll see if we can make that motor turn. Okay, so I got the noticed 2 or 3 things. There's a little switch under here that was stuck open, which doesn't let the contacts touch. And the other thing I was doing was putting the positive ground on this, which doesn't work. There's rubber bushings there, so you got to ground the motor here, and if we do that, sure enough, the motor spins nice and easy. So now we'll finish cleaning out all the grease and put it back together. I think I'll fire up the parts cleaner to really clean these gears good and take my time cleaning these out. Okay, we got everything cleaned up. I'm gonna put a little modern day grease in this area, and we'll get this guy back together. And this springy washer here, just a little bit of lube on that. And this washer, the gear was in there. Okay, best I could tell was the levers were in the 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock positions. So I've got those set in there. I'll put the caps back on, and then we'll make sure it has the back and forth motion. And I've got the little plunger here. You can see this guy. Now he's freed up, so he can move up and down. And that opens and closes the points to switch the direction on the motor. Okay, you got the little bench test here, and put it together, and I noticed it wouldn't want to stop in the correct position. So now I took it back apart, and I noticed that I had this wire pushed up against that point there. So I'll turn this on, touch this, I'll turn it on, and you can rotate this a little bit. So now you can see how the little points popping up and down, and that's the stopping point. So if I put it on high speed, low speed, and then when I shut it off, it will continue to run until it gets to that coasting spot. Okay, we got I put it back together, and it didn't want to stop at the right position. It should stop at a certain position, and I think that's what this adjusting screw is, so you can move that stopping point up and down without having to take it apart. So I've set up a bench test, and I put the switch on, get this right position here. So here is low speed, and you can see the little point contact moving up and down. And when it's down, it's going to continue to move even when you shut it off until it gets to that stopping point. So I'll stop it. See, it's wanting to coast a little far enough that it keeps reactivating itself. Probably because I got it lubed so good now. So I'll make some slight adjustments to that. I'll turn that set screw right there and see if we can keep that from doing that. Yeah, so if I turn it down this way, okay, now we'll test it a few more times. I'm gonna leave it there for now. It's as close as I can get it. I think once we get the windshield wipers on there, it'll put a little extra drag and not let it coast so much. Yeah, I think we'll set it there. Okay, now that we've got the mechanics, the gears, lube, the stopping switch kind of calibrated for now, we can adjust it later with this set screw on the stopping point once we get some more resistance on the motor with some wiper blades. And now that we've got all that working, we'll go clean up these connections and put some heat shrink tube on those so that they don't short out. And get the heat shrink tube on the red and the green. I left the green exposed so you can see the green. Same on the black. All I have was some red shrink tube that size, so I left the black exposed there where it was in good shape. So I think the wiper motor's all ready to go now.